What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, Duel commentary. I believe that this is Sochot's Ruin 1677. Totally very good rating. Totally legit. Versus SS Sully, or I wonder if it's just S Sully. He's 937. Looks like he's running Nekroz, and Ruin was running BA the last time that I saw him. He was playing against Cleese. I think I recorded that match, and he savaged him. So Sully opened up with Yugioh and Valkyrus, which he used by summoning Quasar, and then he used Valkyrus effect to draw 2. Since he has an open field, he can now activate his spell cards. I think he just, what's it called? I think he just banished a Kaleidoscope to add a Kaleidoscope. So he's still back to 5 cards. Now he's going to activate Cycle. He goes for 3. What's he going to pay with? Oh, okay, so he drew the Djinn. And now he activates Preparation of Rites. I guess you never really want to draw the Djinn. You just want to Laval it, right? Preparation of Rites gets him Brio. For Burning Abyss, this is going to be kind of tough to get around Klaus. I believe he added Cycle to his hand and Brio. He's probably already used Brio, if I'm not mistaken. So he just sets 1. Ends with only 5 cards, but a very powerful opening because he has the Djinn lock. Oh, never mind. Okay, well, he has Regeki, so that's the thing. Opens with Regeki Tour Guide. It doesn't get much better than that now, does it? Sully says okay. It's really not much that a Necros player can do, because we know that 2 of your cards in your 3-card hand are Brio and Necros Cycle, so those don't really do anything. Alright, so he opens Tour Guide, Dante, goes for Graft. Oh boy, it's going to go bad for Sully. He hits Graft Answer, which guarantees him at least a second Dante and a Tour Guide. This is one of those plays where BA could really get it in. I feel like I'm going to play Burning Abyss next format, when nobody cares about it then. I'm kind of a contrarian. I don't like playing decks when people play them. And it's crazy. I had 4 Dantes. I sold all of them now, but I could have totally built BA if I wanted. I could have just traded 1 Dante for 2 Virgils and like everything else in the entire deck, and I'd have been good. So he activates Book of Moon on Skarm. Goodbye Graph. Graph will no longer trigger because it's already triggered once. So plans of having 2 Dantes are pretty much flushed down the toilet. He activates Upstart Goblin. Keep in mind though, his opponent totally could get the mass change too, because Ruin plays that, and if I was playing BA right now, I'd probably play mass change too as well, because it makes your Necros matchup actually feasible. It makes it like actually winnable, because Burning Abyss cannot attack the graveyard of Necros, and that's one of the flaws in the deck, that there's no rank 3 that does that. All the rank 4s do it, whether it's Abyss Dweller or Rhapsody of Berserk. The rank 3 pool is where you attack the graveyard. The rank 4 pool that attacks the graveyard. The rank 3 pool, just they don't have anything that does it. So he's looking at his graveyard. I don't think he even has any spells in there that he can use. I think he added Cycle, and I don't think he has any live spells in his graveyard. He might be looking for what he wants to summon off a Cycle. But Ruin's in pretty good shape, having a Skarm 2 in hand and a live Dante. Now if the Dante gets like Brioed or Trishula, I think the material is Tour Guide, so yeah, it won't trigger if it gets Brioed or Trish. But he still have that Skarm to hopefully resolve and back him up. So Sully's looking at his graveyard. What are you going to do, Sully? Alright, so he's going to search. Not only does he want stars in his graveyard to pay for potential summons of other monsters, like Trishula, but then he wants to be able to tutor everything, or tutor something. Alright, so he goes for Yugioh. Kind of surprised. Unless he plans on using the Kaleido Mirror. Oh, that's not going to happen. Vanities is played. I'd also play Vanities if I was playing BA. Just because usually the monster that you have is that you have on board is Dante, and like even with this guy out, he still has a solid defense monster too. He's asking if it sends to the graveyard. Let me just read it. Discard can be blah blah blah. I think it all happens at the same time. Well, it says after that. Let's see what the chat says. I would think that you don't send, because it seems like it happens all at the same time. That you send to the herald to the graveyard, and then you summon that ritual monster. It seems like it all happens at the same time. But anyways, why I kind of like Vanities and Burning Abyss, even though it's horrible against Klee, it'll probably make you lose a Klee matchup, is the fact that usually when you Vanities, you're going to have either Dark Law or Dante on board. Dante can obviously turn off the Vanities. So I feel like it's a one card. It's kind of like a one turn thing, but I feel like it can potentially stop you from getting savaged by Necros. So it doesn't get sent. I would think that it wouldn't get sent just because it says, even though it says after that, there's no like, it's still within the same, what's the thing that I'm looking for? I'm looking for the little symbol. You guys know the one I'm talking about. Like, I'm looking for that little symbol, and it's not there, which means it all happens at the same time. So, problem solving text for the win. That's how I'm reading it. I'm reading it according to like problem solving text, and I don't see like the semicolon or anything like that. So I assume it all happens at the same time. So he's going to add another spell. This doesn't do anything though. And quite frankly, if I'm ruined and he doesn't summon anything, I don't think that I'm going to use Dante's effect. I think I'm just going to attack for 1,000 and switch back to defense. Like, I'm not going to use my Dante until I feel like I can really just game your ass. He gets a Valkyrus, but what does that do? All that does is block an attack. If I'm ruined, I'm just going to keep attacking for 1,000. Either you're going to burn your Valkyrus on 1,000 attack, which I know you don't want to do, or I'm just going to keep using this Dante over and over again. The fact that Dante keeps going to defense mode is, I mean, it means that you don't technically have to turn off your Vanities. And now the ball is in Sully's court to have to draw an out. But it's not like they don't really have any monsters with inherent backer removal. So yeah, if I'm him, I'm just keep poking with Dante. Attack, attack, attack. I'm not doing anything else. I mean, I'll sit here all day and keep poking you for 1,000 life points. I mean, if it takes me 5 turns, it is what it is, right? But I guess if you're Sully, you're saying, well, if you're going to give me that, I'm going to draw an MST, or I'll draw Regeki. Either way, I'll get rid of that damn Vanities. Unless he has 2 Vanities, then I guess you just really lose. You Regeki him and get rid of the Vanities, and then he immediately Vanities you again. But then again, that would probably stop Ruin's plays, because he probably wants to search a tour guide off his Scarm, so. I think right now, Ruin is doing the right thing. I think that there is no reason for him to rush in. I think that the more defensive cards he draws, the better. This is why I advocate Burning Abyss running traps again. You see that he has now got in for 3,000 damage for free. Valkyrus will have to be used eventually, unless he's going to start setting his spells. He activates Brio. And, you know, I never thought I'd see the day that Konami made an all-water deck and Tidal wasn't even good in it. Ain't that something, though? It's crazy how Necros are like, they're a tier 1 all-water deck, and, like, Tidal ain't even good in it. Because Tidal sure as fuck was fantastic in Mermail. Oh my goodness. I mean, just Genix Undyne made that card super live. You didn't have to draw that motherfucker. You just send it straight to the graveyard. But I guess it doesn't mesh with this deck, honestly. He sets a bluff. And I expect him to just keep on trucking, keep on attacking. And the thing is, I think Ruin plays more defense than Sully does. And I think that he can also set his mass changes. I think he can set his upstarts. All those cards, he can just keep setting them. Now, you would like to think by now that Sully would have hit a Manju or a Sanju, something he could actually summon. He's already used his Jin, so he can't set it. If he had a Jin, he could just set it, and that would force out the play. All right, so looks like Sully's finally going to be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! He drew that MST. He got rid of enemy controller. Now, the thing about this is, usually if your opponent has this many cards, I believe 6, Trish is not so effective. Trish is usually like, it's game breaking when you get like a player down to like 2 cards in hand and you can get rid of their board and their most important piece in graveyard, and you hit a vital card to their hand and it's pretty much a wrap. But when your opponent has like 6 cards in hand and 2 good monsters on board, like I'm not really sure what I'm not really sure what Trishula is doing at that point, you know. And that's not even considering if Ruin plays Max C, which would just give him an extra card anyway. And it would also ensure that you can't special summon anymore. Unless, I guess, you use Kaleido Mirror and you summon Trish and something else at the same time. But Trish is 9 stars, so I guess the only one you can summon at the same time is like Klaus being 3. You could send a Quasar to the graveyard. That'd cover all 12 stars, I guess. So, you know what's funny? Remember all that hype about Exabeetle? That card, that terrible card that people were going out and spending like $40. Is it me, or just did that never amounted to anything? The whole Quasar summon double Brio. I think people realize that Brio is way better as a searcher than trying to exceed with it and get a shooting star dragon that does. Shooting star dragon just does nothing in this format. Like when your opponent can just be like, Castel, you lose. All right, so goodbye Dante and Rubik and Sir. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a legitimate hit, but you have to attack the Skarm and give him a tour guide. So what are we doing? Unless you have a Vanity set, Sully, and from what I've seen, no Necros players play Vanities. Maybe in the mirror match or something. I've actually got 2 regionals coming up at the I think they're both within a month. One is in 2 weeks in Charlotte. Another one's in Virginia. I'm not certain I'm going to go to the one in Virginia, but I'm probably going to go to one in Charlotte. I'll play S-Nights in Charlotte probably. And then in Virginia, if I top, I'm not going to play S-Nights again. I'll probably switch to another deck. I might be able to build Cleaves by then. Maybe not. I've got a couple of cards that I'm still looking to trade, and I sold all 4 of my Dantes for pretty decent amount of money, like over $250. So summoned Unicorn as well. Now I know this guy does something when you tribute him for a ritual. I don't know if he searches a spell or if he searches another Nekroz monster or what, but he definitely searches something. He might be trying to go for Abyss Dweller. That would be a decent play. Because then it would get rid of the Skarm. But then it's like, you don't really have any ways of defending now, do you? Okay, I guess he's just going to ignore the Skarm. Just attack with Tour Guide and Manju. That Abyss Dweller would have been legitimate, by the way. Oh, okay, he could go into the Abyss Dweller main phase too. I totally forgot about that. He just wanted to attack and get the damage in. Fair enough. He does go into Dweller. Now, why did he send the Unicorn? Wouldn't you want your Dweller to be 2200 and not 17? It seems like the better play would have been to detach the Manju. I mean, maybe he feels like it doesn't matter, but to me, it just seems like I would have detached the Manju probably. So he normals Farfa. I was going to say, I still think this game is Ruins to win. So he's going to chain Dweller. Although I'm not going to lie, this is somewhat of a desperate play. Oh boy, enemy controllers for that. Oh, all he has to do is attack once and he wins. He can't summon any BAs, but he better hope he doesn't have Valkyrus. Or I guess Book of Eclipse. That would also do it. He attacks. Oh, he had Valkyrus. Dang. That Valkyrus, man. This is why I don't... The enemy controllers, man, they're just... Shit's like a thing of the past, man. It's too real out there for, to be trying to OTK people, man. Shit don't work no more. So he had that Valkyrus. Now the good thing, the solace in that situation is that Sully can't add any more of his BA, or he can't add any more of his Necros spells, because he still does own a Trishula. He has a monster on board. Unless he can somehow summon Valkyrus and give up a couple of cards to draw a couple of cards, he can't use any of his stuff. Damn, that was a real shame too, because Ruin, he burnt two enemy controllers on that attempt to go for game. And he used Farfa. I mean, that's 3 cards to be using in vain. I assume he'll add Valkyrus right back. Nope, he'll add Brio, which technically can add Valkyrus right back. Alright, so Brio is discarded. That artwork on Brio looks so awesome. I like how he's... Not only is he in the Brio armor, which looks really cool, but his stance looks cool. The sword is awesome. And I like how he kind of has that greenish blue kind of aura about him. You know what I mean? It looks like something out of Bleach or whatnot. Like he's using Bankai or something. The Trishula looks cool. Trishula is not my favorite artwork, honestly. I like Brio and Valkyrus more. It's a shame because I feel like when Konami hits this deck, it's still going to be tier 1. If they put Manju and what's it called? If they put Manju and Sanju at 1, it's still going to be tier 1. Alright, so he activates Cycle. And he pays for the Valkyrus summon with Scarret. And I assume he just wants to... We'll see. I guess this is a pretty decent play. I was going to say, I would think you'd want to Trish your opponent again, but he can't because he doesn't have a hand. So... Looks like he's trying to kill him. Can't get the job done. Not quite yet. I wonder if main phase 2, he'll tribute Valkyrus to draw more cards. And then he might then try and use another spell. Alright, so he is going to activate Valkyrus' effect. I can't believe at one point I thought that was a bad effect. My goodness. So you never can really put things into context so far out, right? I saw Valkyrus and I was like, it's not bad. So he gets rid of Gun Gear and Trishula. He's going to keep Valkyrus. Draw 2 cards. Better watch out for enemy controller though. I'm trying to think if he still has that Brio in his hands. If he's going to want to add another Valkyrus or whatnot. Just to, the enemy controller plays potentially dodge him or something like that. I don't know. No, he's going to set 1. 2. Are those MSTs or what? Because if those are MSTs, why wouldn't you just blind MST at this point? Oh, it's Book of Eclipse. Okay. I was like, if it's not Book of Eclipse, it's like MST seems like the only other card, right? Like, Book of Eclipse and MST are pretty much the only things that this deck sets, and sometimes Mind Crush, I guess. Like, it doesn't make any sense to set any of your spells. Alright, so... Guess he's going for Dante or Acid Golem. Dante it is. Oh, you know what I think? I think he's looking for a Farfa. And he gets that Farfa too. I think he was going to special Farfa out anyway. Yep. That Rippin' Farfa. Rippin' Farfa gets him game potentially. Unless his opponent has another Book of Eclipse. But I don't know if that's likely. So he gets Graft. Farfa's probably the worst thing that could have happened to Sully, because not only is Valkyrus banished, but then if you somehow live through this turn, you still control a monster. Although I guess it could tribute itself. Anyways, looks like he did not have an answer, and Farfa gets in. All he had to do is just attack from that point. He only needed the Dante attack to go through, but I'm pretty sure he may have had another BA in his hand, or he could have Mass Change set, and then he could just attack and then launch this for Dark Law, or just attack and then launch this from Koga. Good shit there. Thank you guys for watching as always.